8 hours of sleep a day. That's today's topic. So I know this can be a difficult one to consistently stick to, myself included. I always try my best to get an average of 8. Sometimes it's 6 or 7, sometimes it's 9, but I usually try my best to average 8 hours of sleep a day, and it does really make a difference to your training. And I think, just like a lot of basic things we've been talking about so far, 8 hours of sleep a day is a good guideline and a good talking point of lifestyle issues and variables that need to be looked at, monitored and observed, so you can kind of make a little bit more of a constructive look at training, as opposed to, I don't like deadlifts, it's not working, you pay. You can actually be like, oh, I'm actually not eating enough protein, I'm not walking, that's why this sucks, or this, or whatever. We've got actual real hard data that we can measure and be more logical and less emotional about how we take a step forward. I'm Carl Ragavan, Europe's original starting strength coach. This is Beautiful Strength. Welcome to the show. Let's get into it. So a common question I get within training in general is, what supplements should I take? And to me, it always kind of makes me laugh, because I've obviously taken a few different things like fish oils, creatine, protein powder and all of this stuff, but to me, none of this, none of your money spent on those things is going to be worth more than an hour extra sleeping. So to me, sleep is the best supplement to training. So I do understand from a lifestyle perspective, not everyone can adhere to 8 hours of sleep a day. It's not realistic, right? But it's a good benchmark. But what I'm saying is, you know, if you're stressed, if you're drinking too much water close to bedtime, if you're on your phones, too much screen time, if you had a stressful event that's going on in your life, these things are going to affect sleep. So when it comes to my recommendations of what do you think, it's a good, better, best scenario, right? The best scenario is 8 hours of sleep, and that is it. There's no ifs or buts. It's just good quality sleep. The issue is that good for you? Can it be realistic for you? So I think the bigger conversation here is saying, just because you don't have optimal conditions, you don't always get 8 hours sleep, that doesn't give you permission to be a pussy and be like, oh, because I didn't sleep, I know when I'm warming up, getting under the bar, I know this is going to be a bad workout. Because that's not true. You need to still try hard and give it a go. Push for 5 seconds. Don't give up. Don't just use this, oh, I didn't sleep well, as an excuse, because that's life as well. You're going to not have perfect sleep every day, and you can't use that as a rallying cry to be a pussy. So again, to me, just like I've talked about before about habits, to me this is just another way to build better constructive lifestyle habits that are going to help you train better and probably help other things. If you're able to sleep 8 hours and average that more consistently, your mood and other tasks you have to do throughout the day are probably going to be a hell of a lot better. So what's the worst thing out of sleeping better? You tell me. So there are different little tricks that might work for you. Like for me, I like using a pillow, one of those kind of Temper mattress kind of wavy ones. That's kind of good for my neck. Trying to wear, or at least have, some sort of tint on my screen time to make it a bit more softer. The blue light is kind of a bit annoying, so stuff like that. Try my best to get off the screen also is another good one. So another thing which I love about all these values that I'm giving you: walk 10,000 steps a day, eat 200 grams of protein a day. Sleep 8 hours a day. All these are good, constructive habits which aren't shortcuts. You can't shortcut any of these. There's no bottle that you can grab from Boots or Tesco where you can buy more sleep, right? No one can physically force you to eat 200 grams of protein a day. You have to sit down and eat it. You physically have to get your ass off the couch and walk 10,000 steps a day. You need to get out there for 40 minutes to an hour and move those fucking clodhoppers, right? So to me, these are great things which push habits which can't be shortcut. They have to be done by you, and that the progress will show once you do those things. Another thing about training is that a lot of the onus on whether it succeeds or fails is on you. The blame is on you. The buck is gonna stop with you. Like I said before, all these habits are things you have to do. I can't be at home forcing you to sleep or eat protein. I'm not in your fridge telling you to stuff more meat in your mouth. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, before you're quick to blame your coach or your program or even your technique, right? Sometimes you might have good technique, right? There is a level of being more honest with yourself and looking at it constructively and saying, hey, I probably need to tighten this up. And that's a good thing. It means we've got progress. We've got ways to look at things and be like, yeah, we can make progress here. Also, if you think about this, right, we're taking all this time and effort to train our ass off, get in the gym 3 days a week, add more weight to the bar. We want to get stronger. Why can't we just do these simple habits to help guarantee success? Why does this have to be such an uphill fight and a struggle to get you do these things? Eat, walk and sleep and lift 3 days a week, right? Let's kind of re-engineer that, and you might need to have a deeper think of what your priorities are if we're screaming and struggling to get this. So I would say, like I've said already many times already, that the habits that we're building is more about discipline. You don't need a shit ton of motivation to make progress and success in the gym, but you do need a ton of discipline and good constructive habits. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. I kind of laugh nowadays when I think about training, because I'm thinking about the other 22 hours outside of the weight room. It's not just lifting weights. That's the easy part. That's the fun part. That's the reason why personal training and getting people to lift 3 days a week, that part is kind of a no-brainer, because people actually can feel like tangible progress, right? And the will, like your ability to do that, it takes a very low amount of self-discipline to just get in the weight room 3 days a week and just lift according to a plan. Whereas doing this other stuff, walking regularly, eating enough protein, sleeping 8 hours, this stuff takes a lot more discipline, because no one's watching you, nobody cares, but you need to care if you want progress. So again, to me, 8 hours of sleep is a given. We should be constructively trying to build towards 8 hours of sleep a day consistently. And if you don't, if you're someone who isn't able to do that, okay, but at least then we'll have to manage the stress of training and your programming to facilitate that you can still make progress. Because unfortunately, these things, especially the protein and the sleep, this is really going to have an effect if you are someone who lifestyle can't make that change for whatever reason, right? But it means that your progress is going to be slower. It doesn't mean you should stop training. It just means you won't be able to add 2.5 kilos every session, right? You may need to do programming changes because you're not recovering, and it's not a reason to be all in. If I'm not doing everything perfectly, then fuck it, I'm not strength training, because that doesn't make any progress. And again, I've been in many situations where I haven't been in an optimum ideal setting to make the biggest progress and move the needle as fast as I can, and that's okay. That's life. That is part of training. But you have to be honest with yourself, because then once you are, then you can actually start to make more constructive and logical points of reference to be like, okay, now maybe I'm not going to be on a serious bulk. I'm going to be focusing on more Olympic weightlifting. I might add in a bit more zone 2 cardio. I might want to take up some pickup basketball or another sport or XYZ pick, right? So, but for all those reasons, once you start pushing your goals a little bit left, you know, you're not going straight in, your programming has to evolve to cater for your goals. So I hope you liked the episode. If you did, comment, like, share, subscribe, you know the deal. This is Carl Ragavan, Europe's original starting strength coach. This is Beautiful Strength, and remember, the barbell never lies.